Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Thursday, August 27th. We're continuing on with the light side of each Enneagram type and translate that in your minds. We're not just talking about Enneagram types, we're talking about the light in you. Everybody has light within them. We can all have our shadows, and those could be the most prominent thing when we're unhealthy, when we're coming from our wounds. But never forget, we all have the light, we all have inner resources. And the thing is, one thing I've learned on my personal development journey, to smile or to frown takes the same amount of effort. To be angry or to be happy takes the same amount of effort. One can feel easier because we're more used to it, but we're still putting in effort. So do we want to put effort into allowing our shadows to continue? Or do we want to take that same effort and put it into being intentional about bringing the light out? And today's focus is the light of the Enneagram Type 6 and the Enneagram Type 7. And then I'm going to save the 7 for you.
Yay!
Since
I wanted
had
to do the
7.
6.
I had to do the 2, not the 6. We're doing the 6 today. I did the 2, and I didn't have to. You asked me to, and I wanted to.
Well, I did say a few things, and I want you to say a few things about the 7.
I'll say a few things. Do not worry. We'll start with the Type 6, though. At their best, the light in them is courageous, loyal, and trustworthy. Don't we need that in the world? We need courage. We need loyalty. We need people who are trustworthy. The 6s are great when they're at their best. When they're coming from that light within them, they're the people you need on your side.
Because underneath the fear that they show more of when they're coming from their wounds, when they're coming from the light, that fear turns into courage. Most importantly, I think the light of the 6 is that they learn to trust their own judgment. Many of the 6s that we've met, they can go back and forth about things because security is such a big thing, safety is such a big thing, making sure that all is well in their in-group is such a big thing, so they can vacillate. But then when they are coming from the light, they're firm in who they are, and they trust their own judgment.
I have a very strong 6 wing, I think. Do you agree?
Yes. I would say you have a 6 wing when you're coming from your light. You have more of a 8 wing when you're coming from your wounds.
That's a good analysis. That is very
does
accurate.
that seem true?
I never thought of that, but you're right.
That's my experience.
Well, and you would know more than anyone, I know that feeling of not being able to trust my own judgment. That's how I have felt in the past. Like, oh, am I doing the right thing? And this is where Annette would tell me, don't be so timid. Don't be so timid.
Gosh, yes, I would.
You would always tell me that. Don't be so timid.
Well, because you were timid. You would just
How was I timid, though?
You would stand back and wait for the other person to do something. What I've noticed about the light of your 6 wing, you are an amazing problem solver. And that's when you're coming from the light. Remember, I used to say, and still sometimes say, but not very often anymore, that you suck when you're nervous. That's this.
Yeah,
that
it is.
When you're nervous and you're not trusting your own judgment, you're not as enjoyable to listen to. It's more of a struggle. You can see that going on. But then when you are coming from the light of your 6 wing, you are an amazing problem solver. I always have this vision of you when you were little, and you would come and say, oh, Mom, I think, and you would be talking about how somebody makes marshmallows and how they could do it better, or how somebody could be doing something and how they might want to try it a different way. You were always thinking about that, and you trusted your own judgment then. You thought that you knew. And that's a sweet little memory that I have about you that shows the light of your 6 wing.
Isn't that something, though, then this is just for everyone? When we're kids, before our wounds have taken over, we can come from that light And so there is a lot of remembering that goes on, like remembering who we are.
Yes. I mean, that's pretty much what this work is to remember who we really are. Now, moving on to the 7, since this is all about you today, I guess, Ada.
Apparently,
The light of the Enneagram 7 is joy, optimism, resiliency. What I have enjoyed with you is to watch you go from that Enneagram 7. Remember, they wound to the 1. So those 1 characteristics are perfectionistic and something is right and something is wrong. And then you have that harshness of your 8 wing. So that's all the experience of the woundedness. But as you've been on your journey, there's so much joy. I mean, the other day you said to me just out of the blue of how happy you are. So to watch you go from the wounded place that we all have, not just Ada. I mean, we all have our unhealthy ways of showing up to our healthy ways of showing up. And it's going to vacillate. We don't get to the healthy and stay there because life happens, and we will vacillate between more of our unhealthy ways of handling life. But hopefully the more work we do, that we stay more in that healthy space. But you do have that joy inside of you now, and you also bring joy with you. When you're around, there's joy. Like Dawn and I, we'll just be in the kitchen and doing our thing. And then when you come over, then the joy came. And I remember that when you were little. Like when you were little, the joy came. And so that joy has been with you all along. You had struggled for a while, and now the joy is there, the optimism, the resiliency. You're an extremely resilient person, so that's easy to see with you. One major characteristic of the light of the 7 is the wounded 7 will avoid, some of our clients calling it going into a pit. They just go by themselves and they don't want to be a part of anything. What I've noticed with you is you're turning your avoidance into resiliency and joy. And that is also the mark of the light of the 7.
it's like when you're working out. If you work out consistently, you get stronger, right? If you don't work out consistently, maybe your muscles don't atrophy, but they don't get stronger. And then if you don't work out at all, then you get weaker and weaker and weaker. What I've discovered in my life, maybe this is a tidbit for everyone, is that the more you go into the pit, the more scared you get about things, or the more worried you get, the less joyful, the less optimistic. So you've really let those muscles atrophy in your brain. You've reinforced those neural pathways and you let your resilience atrophy. The more you get out there and do, the better you get at doing stuff. In my life, I've seen the reinforcement of if you're not in the pit and you're out there working on things, you get better at working on things, you get better at doing what you need to do, you get better at being resilient, and life feels better. It's funny how the things that we use to avoid pain end up being a pain themselves. And then just dive in headfirst into the pain and starting to work on it. It's uncomfortable at first, but then it starts to feel so good you want to keep doing it. I don't need to go in the pit and let this problem swirl about in my head. Or I don't need to go in the pit and let this problem grow. If I just start now and take care of it, the short-term pain might be great, but the long-term joy will come faster.
And that's the resiliency.
Oh, I guess it is. I didn't think of that as being resilient. I just thought, well, that's a good problem-solving method. But that's what we can all do. Each Enneagram type has its own way of avoiding pain. I think the better method is let's rip the Band-Aid right off, say what tools do I need to conquer this problem, and start going. The more you do, the better you get. So for an intention today, keep in mind, this is one thing I have to say before we end today. I'll say this again tomorrow. When we're talking about the light that's in each type, that's like their primary light. But we all have these characteristics inside of all of us. We all can have joy. We all can be optimistic and resilient. We all can be courageous, loyal, and trustworthy. And if we have time tomorrow, we'll go over the other types. But just think, that light is in you too, even if you're not a 6, or a 7. So our intention for today, whether you are a 7 or not, I will look for the joy throughout my day. I will look for the joy throughout my day. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.